The most frightening thing I ever saw was two men climbing out of a mountain of broken stone without a single scratch. My name is Miss Ivy. I was 78 years old when Hurricane Melissa tore through Jamaica. The storm came like an angry spirit. The wind screamed through the hills. Trees snapped in half. Roofs flew through the air like paper. The sea rose and swallowed roads. When morning finally came, the island I loved looked broken. For weeks, people searched for food, water, and shelter. Entire communities had been reduced to rubble. It felt as though Jamaica itself was grieving. One evening, I walked toward an old abandoned plantation near the coast. I was helping deliver supplies to nearby homes. The sun had nearly set when I heard a strange rumbling beneath my feet. At first, I thought another storm was coming. Then the ground cracked. The pile of ancient stones before me shifted and collapsed inward. Dust filled the air. I froze. Out of the rubble rose two tall, black-skinned men. Their clothes were old-fashioned and covered in dirt. Their eyes glowed like burning amber in the fading light. One looked calm and thoughtful. The other looked impatient and fierce. I wanted to run. Instead, I hid behind a fallen tree and watched. "Nathaniel," the impatient one said. "Damon?" the other replied. Those names would become known across the island in the months that followed. What few people knew was that their story had begun more than 500 years earlier. In 1494, when the ship known as the Santa Maria docked in Jamaica, it did not arrive alone. Hidden among the sailors was a terrible vampire coven later known as the Coven of Columbus. The creatures spread across the island like a sickness. They bit countless people. Families were torn apart. Entire villages vanished. Among those infected were a young couple named Barnabas and Camilla. The transformation was agony. Their bodies changed. Their hunger became unbearable. But unlike many others, they never forgot their humanity. Barnabas watched innocent people suffer and decided something had to be done. He learned that the coven's master loved drink more than anything. So Barnabas made an offer. He promised endless supplies of Jamaica's finest rum if the coven would spare the remaining people of the island. The coven master agreed. Night after night they drank. They celebrated. They laughed. What they did not know was that Barnabas had secretly mixed the rum with forbidden zombie fluid. The liquid placed a curse upon them. One by one they fell into a deep sleep. The coven master collapsed beside them. None would ever awaken again. Their reign of terror ended in a single night. As the centuries passed, Barnabas and Camilla became leaders among the newly transformed vampires. They were respected. They were feared. Most importantly, they watched over Jamaica from the shadows. Together they raised two sons, Nathaniel and Damon. The brothers loved their island deeply, but they rarely agreed on anything. Nathaniel believed patience solved most problems. Damon believed action solved them faster. Arguments between them often shook entire rooms, yet their parents loved them both. Then Hurricane Melissa arrived. From their distant home, Barnabas and Camilla watched the destruction. They saw homes flattened, fields ruined, families struggling. Their hearts broke. They knew Jamaica needed help, so they called upon their sons. Before entering the human world, Nathaniel and Damon had to drink a bitter potion. The potion removed their vampire desires and weakened them. It burned their throats like fire. Soon afterward, they fell into a deep sleep. For 3 days, they remained motionless. Then they awoke. Their mission had begun. The place where I saw them rise from the rubble was where they first emerged. As darkness fell that evening, I watched the brothers speak. Nathaniel wanted to rebuild Jamaica using the island's own resources, its forests, its rivers, its people, its knowledge. "We already have what we need," he said. Damon disagreed. He believed outside nations should help rebuild quickly. "People need homes now," he argued. "Waiting will cost lives." The brothers argued long into the night. Neither would bend. Eventually, they returned to their parents. Barnabas and Camilla listened carefully. To my surprise, they agreed with both sons. Nathaniel was right. Damon was right. The island needed immediate help and long-term independence. But neither solution alone was enough. Then Barnabas revealed a secret. For centuries, he and Camilla had hidden vast treasure recovered from the defeated Coven of Columbus. Gold, silver, jewels, precious metals beyond imagination. Enough wealth to rebuild entire nations. The treasure had remained buried for generations. Now it was time to use it. The hidden riches were quietly released. Homes were rebuilt. Schools reopened. Roads returned. Farms flourished once more. New businesses appeared. Communities recovered. And Jamaica began to shine again. Months later, I saw Nathaniel and Damon one final time. They stood on a hill overlooking the sea. For once they were not arguing, they were smiling. The island below them was alive again. Barnabas and Camilla soon joined them. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the four figures slowly disappeared into the gathering darkness. They returned to the Coven, where they would spend eternity watching over Jamaica. Sometimes on quiet nights, when the wind blows through the trees and the moon hangs low over the sea, I think about the brothers rising from that mountain of rubble. Most people call it a legend, a story, a fairy tale. But I know what I saw. I saw two ancient vampires emerge from the ruins of a hurricane, and I watched them help save an island they had loved for more than 500 years.